Alright guys, so we have the Mazworks Z32 adapter plate on. Now we're going to start working on getting this OS Geiken Street Master Series twin disc clutch onto the back of the engine. I am installing the engine only. I do want to put the trans in while the engine's already in the car, just so I know it fits for serviceability purposes. So we'll get that clutch on and we'll get this shoved back into the engine bay. Alright guys, so I got the clutch bolted up, not fully yet. I just have a few bolts holding the pressure plate on, but we did have to do quite a sketchy technique since I don't have a alignment tool. So this is what I came up with. Since I have the front bell housing part off, figured, hey, can't get any better than the actual input shaft you're using, so stuck that in there with the clutch just slid over it, and it kind of slid everything forward, and I have a few bolts up on there, so I'll get to work getting the rest of the bolts on, and then we can finally throw this engine back in the car. Alright fellas, we got the clutch fully assembled, pressure plate, everything fully torqued. So all it really leaves is for us to throw this into the engine bay and get it bolted in, and then we can start chugging along on the rest of this car. Alright guys, we're going to have to swap over to a voiceover here because I clicked something on the camera as I pressed record and it didn't record any audio for this clip. But as you saw in the last video, we did get the engine successfully in, even though it was a little tight fit where I had the jack stands up front. It was kind of hard to get the hoist in there. I did hammer out the trans tunnel beforehand, so hopefully when I go to put the trans in later in this video, it's not a super big pain in the ass since it is a Z32 trans. It is a lot bigger than the stock SR transmission. I don't see having too bad of an issue, but I guess time will tell with that one. But now that's back in, we'll start moving on to that, and you can see clearance on both sides for the intake turbo and whatnot. Now I moved on to getting the transmission fully back assembled so the RTV can dry overnight. And I'll see you guys in the next clip. Will be the morning. Just a friendly reminder too, if you guys aren't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out, and I'll see you guys in the next clip. Well, good morning guys. Last time I was able to get the trans fully put together, bell housing back on, front input shaft cover back on. For now, I'm gonna get this mess of a garage cleaned up, and then we can get this car a little higher up in the air so we can slide the trans and trans jack underneath it. And we can see how big of a pain it is to fit this Z32 trans into this S13 chassis. Alright guys, so we have the trans on the trans jack now, so I'm not sure how difficult this is going to be to fit in with the restraint of the OEM trans tunnel. I did hammer it a decent amount before I put the engine in, so hopefully it is enough, but I guess we will find out together. So I'm going to get the trans shoved underneath here, and I'm going to try to set you guys up decently where you can see what's going on. And hopefully I don't have to do something crazy like pull the engine back out, or I think at most if I have to only drop the cross member to bring the engine down a few inches, if that gets it in perfectly, I am fine with that. But let's go ahead and see what it takes. Alright guys, so after a little bit of a struggle, we did end up getting the transmission fully in. See here, it's fully bolted up. You even got the top ones in there because, fun fact, the only, I would say, downside with the Mazworks kit is there's no bolts on the bottom just because nothing lines up. But you have 3 on each side basically, including the starter bolts. So now with all that bolted up, we have a cover plate for here. This is the original Z32 starter location, which obviously we won't run that. Gotta get a slave for right here. But for now, let's get the shifter plate and everything fully bolted up, and then we can get the cross member in, and then this is officially fully installed. Fun fact also, if you guys do this, I haven't bought a speed sensor yet. It does look like if you drop just the cross member, you do have enough room to sneak a speed sensor between the chassis. So I'll get one of those. We can pop that in without having to pull too much apart. But let's get the shifter fully bolted up, and I can show you the location where that lands in the car. Alright guys, so we now have the trans fully installed, shifter, everything besides a drive shaft. Let me quickly show you where the shifter ends up coming out on the trans tunnel itself inside the car. Now keep in mind, this is not the Mazworks shifter. This is the excessive manufacturing shifter bracket and short shifter, so it brings it a little closer forward compared to the Mazworks. A lot better location. Before with the Mazworks, you have to cut back here, probably about 2 to 3 inches further back in the chassis. Let me go underneath the car. Let me show you the bracket all bolted up and fully installed. Alright guys, so this is the shifter bracket on the bottom fully installed. Bolts up to the back. You have this little linkage piece that goes to the shifter. I will say the trans mount in the Mazworks kit, I don't know if it's made for a specific SR trans mount, but I did have to shave this corner and that bolt down, and then cut this corner a little bit in the bolt down, just so it actually fit properly. Kind of like that. You can see this angled part was hitting hard on the mount where it wouldn't even fit all the way flush, but it's in now decently. I might look into a different mount. I might just leave it. It depends if it causes a vibration or anything underneath the car while we're driving. And alright guys, so that is the trans fully installed. Next video we're probably going to hopefully move over to working on this guy. This is a Garrett G25 550 turbo in a bottom mount configuration. UPS so far says on Wednesday my future fab top mount manifold is going to show up. So we can squeeze that into this tight area right here, and we can work on getting the turbo on, all the lines ran, downpipe made. Looks like downpipe might be a little tight fitting between that and the steering shaft. I don't know where the turbo and everything lands. Probably it's going to land really close to all the brake stuff, which kind of just how it is on an SR. We'll do our best to do as much heat management as we can to prevent any issues. So when the manifold does show up, I will be Cerakoting it. When I make the downpipe, I will Cerakote that as well and heat wrap that. A couple silicone heat sleeves over some oil lines and coolant lines, and we should be set. We shouldn't have any issues down the road with that. So that'll hopefully be next video if everything does get delivered on time. For the time being now, I have a lot of cleanup to do in here, so I'm gonna get ahead, get this cleaned up so we have a nice clean workspace for next video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you could, please like, comment, subscribe. It really does help me out, and I'll see you guys next week.